All right, welcome back, everyone. This is our final session of the entire Q4 playbook. So appreciate you being with us for this. This session is going to be on the power of AI, work smarter, not harder, with AI being top of mind for many brands and advertisers. I'm excited to dive into this topic and explore its potential impact on Q4. Since we've covered logistics, I'm not going to go over all of these again, but just a reminder that session recordings and slides will be shared directly to your inbox on Friday morning, so keep an eye out for that. We're going to have a few poll questions throughout the session, so make sure to click the poll tab in the in the top right hand corner to share your input there. And I think by this point within the day, everyone knows who Tinuiti is, so I won't cover all of this again. Before I introduce the others here on the screen, let's hear from our audience. So what AI applications are you most interested in exploring for your marketing campaigns? So again, to access that poll, you'll toggle over from chat to polls in the top right corner. Looks like most people are saying personalization and customer segmentation. Yep, that's definitely taking the majority here. So I know this is very relevant to the discussion today. So we have some great experts with us, and I'm going to go ahead and let them introduce themselves. So Ben, why don't we have you kick us off?
Sounds great. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Ben Plants. I'm a product manager on the Tinuiti side working with the Display app.
Hi, guys. I am Brecken Lewis. I'm an Associate Director of Integrated Strategy. I've been at Tinuiti for about 5 years, and I'm excited to be here.
Hey everybody, I'm Michael Rao. I'm a Principal Solutions Consultant at Iterable, based in New York. I've been at the company for about 3 years and excited to talk to you all about AI today.
Awesome. So I'm going to kick us off here. We'll kind of set the stage. We all know stakes are high in digital marketing, and consumers are bombarded with 10,000 messages a day, and the challenge is always breaking through the noise, speaking directly to the individual's needs and desires. And that is really where AI is kind of turning what was once kind of an overwhelming challenge into a streamlined process. Last quarter, I worked with an e-com client who was facing this very challenge, and they were burning through ad spend at an alarming rate with conversion rates that were just kind of lackluster. They really weren't able to break through the noise. But when we integrated AI-powered personalization kind of at each juncture in the paid media ecosystem, we saw remarkable results. Click-through rates up 300%, cost per acquisition in half, ROI saw a 4x improvement. And the difference really comes down to 6 key components of paid media programs. And those are creative, bidding, targeting, ad serving, landing page optimization, and analytics. And while it might sound like a unicorn case, it's rapidly becoming the norm for those who've embraced AI in their campaigns. We're going to kind of walk through each of these, starting with persona variated creative production. So in the past, running sophisticated analyses to kind of surface segmentation cohorts required the expertise of a data scientist. But today, large language models have kind of democratized this process. So, these models are increasingly adept at working with large data sets, and they can execute these foundational analyses like k-means clusterings with ease. It's really just as simple as telling an LLM to act as your marketing data scientist and then asking what inputs are needed for the analysis itself. And then once those personas are identified, we use generative AI tools like Adobe Photoshop integrated with AI capabilities or Midjourney to create ad variants that are tailored to each of these groups and allow us to do that, kind of spread our resources far and wide, and then kind of increase that speed to market. I had a client in the cosmetics industry who was struggling to engage their audience. And by leveraging this kind of AI-driven approach, we produced 15 unique ad variants targeting, I think it was 5 different personas. And the result was engagement rates off the chart, up by like 150%. And their best-selling product sold out in a week. So don't limit yourself to demographics, dive into psychographics here, kind of understand what keeps your audience up at night and what makes them tick, and feed this data into the AI tools to kind of watch the magic happen. Next, talk about bidding. AI-driven dynamic bid optimization allows us to essentially stop overpaying for clicks that don't convert. We can start in platform with smart bidding options that most of the major platforms have already baked into some kind of tactic. And then for more sophisticated needs, there are third-party bid management tools that can also come into play. A local pizza joint I consulted for switched to AI-powered dynamic bidding from manual bidding, and by showing ads at peak hunger times that they hadn't even really perceived themselves, and being able to adjust those bids in real time to kind of meet that spike, their cost per acquisition dropped by 50% within a month. So yeah, Insider Hack maybe also track micro conversions, things like add to carts or wish list ads, and feed this data into the AI bidding algorithms as well. It's kind of like giving your campaigns X-ray vision. When it comes to targeting, broad-based algorithmic strategies really enable us to leverage the vast data reserves of these major walled garden platforms. They have so much data on their users, and by setting really broad parameters and kind of allowing the algorithms to do the work, we can discover untapped audience segments. One quirky example is a stock startup that was targeting young adults, but AI had kind of identified a gold mine in the over 60 demographic, and soon their kind of cool Gramps line became the best seller. So don't be shy about testing unconventional targeting parameters. Sometimes, or I guess oftentimes, the machine knows something that you don't. Moving into dynamic creative optimization, with DCO, we can ensure that the right creative and messaging is reaching the right user at the right time. And this can be as simple as structuring campaigns with each concept in its own ad set, and then could also dive into platform-specific DCO tactics. I helped a travel agency optimize their ads to kind of show sunny beaches to people who were in rainy cities, and ski slopes to those that were experiencing heat waves. And we saw a 70% increase in bookings. So this can be huge in terms of showing the right user the right message. Dynamic landing page optimization, post-click engagement is really crucial. AI kind of allows us to create dynamic landing pages and that align with the ad's message to really ensure that seamless user experience that drives conversions. If we associate each ad variant with a unique URL and kind of tailor the landing page to match, we can maintain that personalized experience beyond just that first engagement, and all the way through the customer journey. One pro tip is maybe using heat maps on your landing pages to understand user behavior, and then customize the elements that users see first or that they spend the most attention on. You don't need to redo the whole landing page. And then you can also use generative AI tools like we talked about, Photoshop and Midjourney, to make the tailoring even easier than it has been in the past. Lastly, let's talk about predictive analytics. AI-powered tools like Google Analytics or Iterable CDP allows us to tag key conversion actions and build future campaign strategies based on solid data-driven insights. So a subscription box client used predictive analytics to identify potential churners that I was working with. We ran a targeted kind of like "We Miss You" campaign, and saw a 30% reduction in churn rate and almost a 25% boost in customer lifetime value. So, don't just focus on who's most likely to convert. There's lots of opportunities here in identifying who's most likely to defect or who's most likely to become one of those long-term high-value customers. And it's often kind of the slow and steady approach here that wins the race. And once you've implemented your strategies across creative production, bidding, targeting, ad serving, landing page optimization, and analytics, you can use those insights from the predictive analytics to refine your approach. And this is kind of when the cycle starts anew with refined audience data. You can identify new segmentation opportunities and craft kind of fresh, tailored creative that maximizes engagement. So by kind of continually cycling through these stages and leveraging AI to adjust, test, and optimize, you'll really ensure that your campaigns are not only performing well, but also evolving with your audience's needs. And as we gear up for Q4, now is kind of the perfect time to integrate AI into your paid media campaigns and turn them into those highly effective ROI driving machines that we rely on during peak holiday. Yes, just remember, in a world of noise, personalization is your megaphone, and with each iteration, your message becomes clearer, stronger, and more resonant. And with that, I will pass it over to Ben.
Awesome, thanks, Brecken. Yeah, so want to spend some time talking about AI in terms of content optimization. So Gen AI is kind of like the big thing right now. And while important, we do also find that AI can be used to help tag, analyze, and optimize your existing creatives. So you can use AI image and audio recognition to help tag your creative assets at scale. And this is helpful for a couple of reasons. One, it automates a manual task. And then two, it's also doing things consistently. While accuracy is important, consistency is also just as important, where one person might watch a video and tag it one way, and a second person might do it a completely different way. By using a similar AI methodology across the board, you're making sure that each piece of content is being tagged in the same manner, so that when you look at insights at scale, you're looking apples to apples. We can then kind of use this tagging to pair with the actual performance data along with machine learning or analysis tools, so you can not only understand what's in an ad, but understand how it's driving performance and get a much deeper understanding of what's driving performance. We do this today by AI tagging of video assets for best practices, custom attributes, and then ML processing. So we'll start first with best practices. We are partnering with Google to implement Gemini to analyze creative content. This is going to help us understand success based on industry best practices like Google's ABCD for YouTube. And basically what this is doing is allowing us to perform a quick gut check on whether a video asset has all the standard components that we believe should be included in most, if not all, videos. This is things like if an offer is shown, if you're showing the product, or the audio is tying up with the visuals on the screen in terms of the supers. Not only does this feed into our ML process, which we'll touch on a little bit in a second, but it also gives you a quick insight into the ad before you even launch the campaign. So while as most insights might happen kind of after the fact or during the performance of the campaign, this allows you to check something beforehand. So really, especially going into Q4, your most impactful time of the year where you really are going to want to launch your most impactful campaigns. This is a quick check that you can do before it even starts to make sure that you're including everything that you need to be in order to maximize your performance. We pair this with, if we can move on, we pair this with also custom attributes. So custom attributes, while the best practices are global across all clients and companies, custom attributes are really specific to what your company might care about. So in this case, if you're a food service company, you might want to know what type of food is being served in every ad, and what's the best to show, and what's the leading to the most signups or visits or orders. By leveraging AI to tag these custom attributes, we can take it a level deeper than even the standard best practices and apply it to things that are specific and important and relevant to your company. This allows us to easily categorize and understand what is featured in each video at scale. And then again, ultimately feeds into what we'll touch on in a second with our ML process to understand what's actually driving performance. If we go to the next slide, we'll even touch on that in more detail. Yeah, so understanding the why of creative performance. We don't really want to say creative A is better than creative B anymore. We want to take it a level deeper, right? You want to understand what about creative A is driving performance versus creative B. And that's what this machine learning process tries to take into account. Basically, what we're doing is we're taking those AI-generated tags, feeding them into our machine learning process, combining that with performance data to understand what aspects are the most important towards your set KPIs. So in the example above, we're looking at signups. You can see in the upper left, the most important attribute is going to be the concept of the ad, the main idea behind it. Within concepts, you can see that the most important, specifically important attribute of concept is partnerships. That's the best performing concept. And it's 210% above the baseline performance. And then this is a demo, but on the right side, you would normally see creatives and the actual videos that are all the partnership videos. Basically, what this is doing is it's doing that during and after analysis as well, of saying, now that we've launched a campaign, we're seeing things come in and folks interact with it and get attributed to it. What's actually the most important and relevant attribute in these ads? Again, doing this using AI tagging allows us to do this at scale across the clients, across many videos, many serving channels. And really, if you run this year round, it's really relevant, but especially going into Q4, you can take some of these insights and say, okay, now that we're going into the big time of the year where we want to generate the most buzz and consideration, what are our key concepts, offers, foods that we should be featuring in our ads? And that's where we're really taking things in the future. So we have a couple next steps and future state things that we want to take care of. First is just going to be expanding to include all channels for that custom attribute and tactic tagging, include all channels for best practices, and then expanding that from video to include static images as well in that ML process. So you're able to do this past just video. And then Gen AI, kind of what Brecken was talking about earlier, about that feedback loop of taking those creative insights, feeding that back into generative AI so we can quickly iterate and generate creatives that include the attributes that we've found through that ML process are the most impactful, as well as swift execution of like iterations. So if you find within a best practice that you're missing a brand logo or the audio doesn't match up with the screen, that you can quickly iterate and include those best practices so that you're able to launch those impactful campaigns, especially going into Q4. I will pass it over to Michael.
Cool. Thanks, Ben. So I'm going to be talking about how some of our customers leverage these AI tools within the Iterable platform. And we have lots and lots of customers who work both with Iterable and with Tinuiti. So it's something that we're really excited about, empowering the folks who work with us to take advantage of all of these capabilities that you have across your entire stack and start to, reduce some of the work that your marketing team is doing, for example, or be, smarter or more efficient. So I'll be talking about a few different capabilities here. Before I get too deep into it, just this is a Tinuiti webinar, but I do want to make sure that I introduce Iterable here. We're a cross-channel marketing automation platform. We operate across all the channels that you see here on the screen. And we're working with lots and lots of data, which makes our AI capabilities really, really powerful. So it's something that's really exciting for us. We're sending lots of messages every single year, reacting to customer behaviors and ensuring that every single customer of our customers has a deeply personalized and relevant experience when they interact with the brand. And we're these days putting a lot of our resources and investment into AI. So I'll be talking about the specific capabilities. But just a bit of a framework here for our AI. If we go to the next slide. So we like to think of this in 4 different areas, right? We want it to be intuitive, explainable, value-focused, and then verifiable. And I think that this actually ties in really nicely to what Ben and Brecken were speaking about here is we want to help you understand not just what's the likelihood of a customer to engage with a, specific piece of content or to take some action, but we also want to help our customers understand what are the leading indicators for that? What are the data points that are ultimately driving someone to execute on XYZ goal? And that's built in as part of that trusted and verifiable component of Iterable's AI. If we go to the next slide, we'll see just a final overview here. This is a build out. So we try and keep this transparent. With Glassbox AI, I'll be speaking about this just a little bit when we get into the capabilities here. It's fully customizable. We have lots of customers, and so we need to ensure that this is suitable for every single customer's use case. It's fully integrated, meaning that you can use it across any channel, email, push, SMS, WhatsApp, wherever it is that you're communicating with your customers. And then finally, measured. It's great to have the predictions, the analytics, the generative content, but we also want to help you understand how is this impacting your customers. So let's get into it, into the specific capabilities. So I'll give you some visibility and some information about how customers are using this, but we like to group this into 3 different types of AI capabilities in the Iterable platform. We have audience tools, including brand affinity and predictive goals, optimization tools. You'll see optimization in all the names there. And then automation. And one of our most exciting ones is called Journey Assist. I'm going to address that last to try and keep as many of you around as possible. But it's something that we're really, really excited about for taking a big piece of the workload off of marketing's plates whenever they're creating these multi-step, multi-channel journeys to engage with their customers. But let's start with audience. So, and this is one of my favorites. This is it's always fun to talk to customers and prospects about how it is that we can leverage things like brand affinity and predictive goals for a lot of the reasons that Brecken and Ben were speaking about. So these two predictive measurements are allowing you to understand what's the likelihood of my customer for brand affinity to engage with my next message. And then for predictive goals, it's really predictive anything. What's their likelihood to make a second purchase over a specific period of time? We work with a real estate company that is measuring the likelihood of customers to book a home tour. That company has two totally different audiences. There's a group of people who are actually interested in buying homes and are creating accounts and are booking tours and going into that cycle. There's an entirely separate group of people who are engaged with that brand who like to go on vacation to fun cities and look at houses in those cities. So they need to be able to be efficient about how it is that they target those folks, and predictive goals helps them to do that. And you'll see the little pop-up here, explainable AI, understand your prediction. We have this for both brand affinity and predictive goals, and it's important for exactly those reasons that were discussed before. I, yes, want to be able to predict the likelihood of a customer engaging on some goal or executing on some goal, but almost more importantly, what is commonly leading those customers to engage? Is it that they're seeing a certain webinar or video on the website? Is it that they're engaging with some piece of content or on a certain channel? And this is ultimately driving those customers to execute on that final goal, and then we can start to optimize our campaigns around those leading indicators. Moving into optimization, there are three capabilities that we talk about here. Frequency, so how often should I, as a consumer, be messaged? And we're measuring that across the entire base of our customers who are in the Iterable platform. Over the course of a week, maybe I respond best and have a high likelihood of remaining subscribed with 2 messages per week. Whereas Brecken, he might be a little bit more engaged and get 5 messages and he doesn't stand a chance of unsubscribing. So we're constantly calculating that within our system to ensure that you're engaging with your customers on a frequency that makes the most sense. Send time optimization, ensuring that those messages are at the top of the inbox or at the top of your messages if we're communicating via SMS. And then finally, channel optimization. I'm going to talk about some outcomes with this with care.com here in just a little bit. But this is really just taking all of your channels and saying, okay, where has my customer been most engaged with me over the last 6 months or 12 months? And routing that message to the appropriate channel based on that historical engagement. Again, this is all measurable. It's all testable as well. And that way you can ensure that when you are sending messages, you're sending them at the right frequency, at the right time, and to the right place so that your customer has a high likelihood of engaging. And finally, this is, again, the one that I'm most excited about. And so I gave it 2 slides here, but automation tools, Journey Assist, which is kind of like ChatGPT for your journeys, where you can type in what you're looking for and we'll build it out for you. Copy Assist for coming up with cool subject lines and other content within emails. And then finally, Next Best Action, which you see here on the screen. Next Best Action is taking in data about engagements over the lifetime of your customer's engagement with Iterable and using that to say, okay, for those users who have not been engaged, what's the best campaign that I could send them? What's the best possible subject line? Why is this the best possible subject line for me to be able to communicate with them? And to ultimately help you to drive results. So we're taking in that behavioral information and using that to create as tailored of an experience as possible to drive engagement and ultimately to drive revenue. And I promised you 2 slides on this. So this is our newest AI capability, Journey Assist, where you have the ability to generate multi-step, multi-channel journeys with the click of a button. And we have some pre-built templates for you where you can build out an onboarding series or an abandoned cart or re-engagement flow. But what you can actually do here is go in and type out what you're looking for, and we'll actually build out that journey for you. And for any existing journeys that you have the ability to optimize on those using Journey Assist as well. And ask it, how could I make this better? How could I drive more engagement? And we'll use your previous behavior within journeys to help you make this as efficient as possible. And ultimately, take a lot of work off the marketing team to have to use a drag and drop editor to build out journeys. So it's something that we're really excited about. And if you're interested, please reach out. We'd love to show it to you. And just a little bit of a proof point here for channel optimization with care.com. Really exciting and significant results They've been a great customer of ours for a long time, and have recently kind of gone into the pet care market, which is super exciting, and they've been using a lot of our AI capabilities for that specifically. But massive increase in care seekers bookings of care providers, and pretty significant time savings as well for the marketing team, so that they have the ability to use that time and focus more on strategy. So yeah, it's exciting results for us.
All right. So as we wrap up here, I want to leave you with 3 kind of key takeaways that will supercharge your Q4 digital campaigns. AI can personalize and enhance every aspect of your paid media. It can transform your creative analysis with powerful, scalable insights, and it's your secret weapon for kind of maximizing efficiency. So, start where you are, leverage the tools that we've walked through today, and let's make Q4 not just about hitting targets, but about setting new standards. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. And just while we're here, all the key takeaways from day 1 and day 2 of the playbook are in the handouts section. So if you click at the top right to handouts, you can download that there. And really just want to give a big thank you to Ben, Brecken, and Michael. You guys did an awesome job. Thank you so much for walking us through those practical applications of AI, and really just good stuff for our audience to be able to implement this Q4. So I don't think we have any questions from our audience, and I know we're running at time, so we'll go ahead and skip over Q&A. But if you use those QR codes on your screen, that will allow you to connect with Ben and Brecken and Michael all on LinkedIn, so you can use those codes there. And then I'm going to launch this opportunity again for our audience. And I would also like to congratulate, we have 1 more gift card winner. So Emily Fox is our winner for that. You will receive an email tomorrow, and you'll have an option to choose between gift cards from DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub. So I'll send you that in the morning. And thank you so much to all of our speakers from both day 1 and day 2 of Tinuiti's Q4 Playbook for Holiday Success. The insights, real-world applications, expert advice shared over all of these sessions has really been crucial for our audience. And we hope you, our audience, have gained some really actionable takeaways to elevate your strategy this holiday season. And a special thank you to our audience for joining us. We appreciate you taking the time out of your busy days. I know it's a lot to be able to come in and sit and listen to a lot of these strategies and tactics, so we appreciate you taking the time. Just a reminder that the recordings and slides are going to be sent to your inbox on Friday, so keep an eye out for those. All of day 1 was sent on last Friday, so if you were registered at that point, you've already gotten them, but if you weren't, we'll send day 1 and day 2 on Friday, so you'll get those there. And we just appreciate everyone again for joining us, and we'll see you all next time. Thank you. Have a good one.